Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining the webinar for Assistance Software and for Assistance PSA 2016. We will have for you a great agenda. This webinar will be recorded and will be published on our website after we have done the webinar. Also, if you have any questions, please give me some time to answer them because we have a very busy webinar today. A lot of people joining, but if you have any questions during the webinar, you can put your questions in the question box, and then I'm more than happy to answer them. So I have the question box open. So if you have any questions, put it in the question box. For today, we have a great agenda. You can see my screen, hopefully, and we're going to talk about, of course, PSA 2016. You can find PSA 2016 on assistancesoftware.com/PSA 2016, and you can find there the release notes. Definitely you want to download the release notes, and you can find, of course, the software, the PSA software. At this moment, we have launched PSA 2016 only as an English version. The rest of the language translations will be done first in Q1 of 2016 with the service update of PSA 2016 with some additional functionality that I'm going to talk about as well. We will also have all the other languages available. We're going to talk about today about the roadmap 2016-2017, and we're going to give you some previews, some work in progress basically of things that we are developing and that will be all launched in Q1 2016. And of course we have the Q&A. So I will hang on the webinar for at least 20-25 minutes. So if you have any questions or you want to chat with me, please leave your comments in the question chat box, and I'm more than happy to answer them. So for the lineup for PSA 2016, we're going to discuss and we're going to show you some new functionalities. PSA 2016 is compatible with CRM 2016. So if you are on CRM 2016, we can really recommend that you download PSA 2016 as well. If you are still on an older version of CRM because you are on CRM on-premise and you still work on CRM 2015, to make it a little bit more confusing, but PSA 2016 can also work on CRM 2015. So if you don't want to update to CRM 2016, you can still update to PSA 2016. So it's not necessary to go through CRM 2016 to enjoy the new features of PSA 2016. But if you are on CRM 2016, then it's highly recommendable to go on PSA 2016 as well. New functionality in PSA 2016 is on the copy template and add project item functionality. I will show you that. We have the option to copy a budget to fixed fee. We have improved functionalities on the invoice part and the invoice module of PSA 2016. It's now in HTML5, so no Silverlight anymore in the core functionality here. And in the Gantt chart, we have improved functionality. Now you can also basically connect and convert a project item activity, so a scheduled task, to an Outlook appointment. Really nice functionality here with some other nice features that I will show you in my presentation. And of course, we have improved the utilization sheet. You can schedule directly from the utilization sheet. You can schedule directly activities in the utilization sheet. So this being said, I'd like to go to my demo, and we'll show you those new features in PSA 2016. So here we are in PSA 2016. One of the things that we are doing in 2016 for PSA is the vertical approach. And one of the evidences of that vertical approach is you see here at the left upper corner, we have here the PSA suite installed with the vertical package for IT services. We are supporting 8 different verticals with vertical packages, and those vertical packages I will talk about a little bit later in my roadmap. But in this case, we see IT services as the vertical package installed in this demo environment. First, I want to show you the ability now to copy a project template. So if you go to in this case PSA settings, I'm just going to minimize my little GoToMeeting panel here. PSA settings, we find here, of course, project templates. And now you have the ability to hit copy template. This is really a feature that a lot of people were waiting for. And if you hit copy template, we will see, oh, sorry about that. If you hit copy template, we will see here the HTML5 panel to copy a template. I can select any template, for example, advisory, give it another name. Demo advisory. and now the template is copied with the item structure, the item groups, and the project item activities. So everything is copied now, and here when we look at my list of templates, we see here demo advisory. I just copied that template. So that is really something that works very, very nice. Another thing what we can do based on the template functionality, if you have an existing project and you can now add to an existing project additional items from other templates. So in other words, I have here a project called Strategic M&A for AdventureWorks. I'm going to open the project, and we can now add to this item structure, we can add items from other templates. So in this case, we selected advisory. We see here the template structure, ongoing project management, competition investigation, etc. And here now I have the option to add project items, and I can add those project items from another template. So I can say, okay, to this specific existing project, I want to add some items from, in this case, audit engagement. And in this case, I want to add text and review. Accept. And now those items are copied to this specific existing project. And that gives a whole new approach of creating your project templates, because you can now create limited templates with less options and less items, and then give the user the ability to basically copy items from other templates as soon as you're going to sell those services or products on your project. So now we see here, when we just refresh this list, we see here that we have another page now, and we have these services with review and text. That are the items I just copied from an existing other template to this existing project. So that's really a nice new functionality and a nice feature that you have here. Another feature that we have now is that you can really start calculating your project. And of course, that was already existing. But what you also can do now is that if you have created and have done your calculation, for example, for this specific project item, regulation in this case, I can calculate, of course, my budget with my budget grid. I can generate my budget from my Gantt chart, or I can just key in my budget. That's whatever you want. So let's put here a budget of 12K. And I'm going to save this. And what you have now is the option to basically copy your budget to your fixed fee. So if you have fixed fee items and you've calculated your budget, you have now the option to basically copy your budget to your fixed fee item. So I have this little button, copy budget to fixed fee. I hit OK. And now we will see that when I refresh this list, my regulations went from 1,500 to 3K. It's now similar to my budget. So the perfect flow to use this is you create a project, you select a template. The template already consists of project item activities with expected hours and a specific hour type. Then you update basically from your Gantt chart your budget. And then as soon as your client accepts your budget and agrees on it, you can copy your budget fees to your fixed fee item. So that gives a real nice flow to the whole process. We have also additional functionality in the invoice module. Besides that, the invoice module is completely redeveloped in HTML5, and the invoices are generated server-side, not client-side anymore. We have also additional fields. So when we go to the invoice section here, so I'm selecting here invoices, go to the invoice section, just minimize my business process. We have here the invoice description. This invoice description will be inherited to the invoice. So in other words, I can have a text here, please refer to PO number 4350. And this is something that will be inherited and will be copied to the invoice to the body text. We also have the option to have a separate invoice account. So the invoice account can be different than the project account. That's also something we have here. So this is the invoice account. So we can invoice to another account than the project account, and also with another invoice contact. So those additional fields are here on the invoice section of the project. Talking about the invoicing, we have now created the invoicing in HTML5. So as soon as we hit the invoice button here, and you see I do my demo here in Edge, the newest browser of Dynamics of Microsoft Windows 10. We see here basically we see all the items that I can invoice, and in this case these are fixed fee items, and I can just hit OK here and invoice those items. So I'm going to invoice in this case those items here. This is time and material, and it's already invoiced. But for example, for my fixed fee, I can say, okay, I'm going to invoice 100% here. So I'm going to invoice 3K, and that's the regulation here. You have, of course, the little magnifying glass to see the details of this specific line, and I can hit OK. What's new in this screen is that we have an from until date. In the previous version of PSA, we had only until date. Now you have also a from date. And that from date will give you the capability to, if you do time and material to, for example, you only want to invoice February, you can select that specific time frame. So from the 1st February to the February 28th. We did not have the from date, we had only the until date. So when we hit OK, the invoice is generated. Of course, in the standard invoice entity of CRM. And here we have the invoice that is just now generated by PSA. And of course, here we have the standard approval capabilities that you are used to in PSA and in CRM. As soon as you approve the invoice number will be generated and the invoice journal entries will be created. Another thing what we have is that we have the capability to do batch invoicing, of course. So when you go to projects, we find here the button batch invoicing. And here we see the batch invoice screen where we have time and material, recurring and installments. We can select an invoice period, which recurring pattern we want to invoice every 12 months. We hit refresh and we see then in this case 2 projects coming up. We can select an invoice period. The invoice period is related to our financial solution, Assistance Financials, where you can do completely accounting, and we find there also all the journal entries to integrate with any other financial backend. And the financial period can be different than the invoice date. So you can invoice maybe hours from January with invoice date February because you're just done with the approvals, but you want to have the revenue in January. So the invoice date can be then February, while the period is period number 1. So that's an option that you have here as well. All the invoices are generated basically server-side. So the server is now generating the invoices in the background, and as soon as that's done, you can find your invoices in the invoice entity under a specific batch number. So when I go here to my invoice option, invoices here, we will find here all the invoices that are just generated by PSA. Last but not least, on the invoice side, we have the invoice split functionality. That is really new functionality. We see that for our enterprise customers, sometimes that is needed. Invoice split functionality basically means that you have one project, but you want to split the invoice to multiple accounts. And you can do that in a percentage. So let's say you are an architect and you have a big project going on, and 40% is paid by party A and the other 60% is paid by party number 2. You can then go here to the invoice split option. You find that here. You can create that split. So you create 2 lines of 40% and 60% with 2 different accounts. Every invoice that is generated then will be split accordingly that structure. To have more information about the invoice split, I'd like to direct you and refer to the release notes page number 5. We know that some customers were waiting for this functionality, and then you can see how you can set it up. You can also invoice to create a summary invoice. You can create the invoice from the program level now. So you don't have only batch invoicing and individual invoicing by project, but you also have the capability to create a program invoice. The only thing that is important with the invoicing from the program level is that the projects are related to the same account. It can only, of course, create one invoice for multiple projects that belong to one program if those different projects are belonging to the same account. But anyway, if you hit this button, invoice, on the program level, you will see all the billable items across projects, and that are, of course, only the projects that are a part of this program. So, so a lot of functionality added here as well. Now moving on to the improvements on the Gantt chart. When we look at the Gantt chart, we will see that we have the capability easier to put a project item activity on tentative or deactivate a project item activity. In other words, when I'm doing basically tentative scheduling, I'm not sure if the project is really being approved or if we really get a signed contract back, but I already want to do tentative scheduling. If we go to the Gantt chart, you will find now the tentative setting directly on the project item activity without opening it in CRM. So in other words, when I look here at my, let's say my preparation, and this is an item activity that's called preparation supervision. This is not sure yet, is that we're going to do this. Here in the general tab, we can put this on tentative. You see also the option to put it on active or not active. So that's used for example, if things are done. So you don't want people to book any more time on the kickoff meeting because the kickoff meeting is 100% completed. So you can deactivate it, and it means that people cannot book time against that activity anymore. Another thing that is related to this is the restriction, the booking restriction. If you check booking restriction, people need to book against an activity and can only book against activities that they are assigned to. So that means that you have a more strict way of managing your project. So I'm assigned to doing the, let's say, the scope session. Then I'm scheduled onto the scope session, and that means that I can only book my time against the scope session. So that is the booking restriction here that you can use and that you can leverage if you have a more restrictive policy regarding time entry on certain activities. A major change is also the approach with combining activities with appointments in PSA now. So what you can do in PSA today is that you can have, let's say, you need to do preparation activity here. And this preparation activity starts at February, in this case, February 29. And this takes the whole week. Of course, I can then select a resource here. So I'm not now going to select myself. So I'm going to type in my own name. And as you can see now, I'm assigned to this activity. This activity is still, of course, available and visible in the utilization sheet. But what I can do now, I can also push this activity to Outlook. So in this case, if you push it to Outlook, PSA will create whole day appointments in Outlook. So that is on top of your Outlook calendar. So we don't have a start and end time because we think people will figure out their own start and end time from a scheduling perspective. But Martijn, in this case, Martin knows that he is scheduled to do this preparation activity. So as soon as I want to push this in Outlook, I hit, in this case, create Outlook appointment or create appointment. And when the appointment is created, this is now an appointment activity created, and this appointment will show up in my calendar. So if I look at my calendar on February 29, and if you know in CRM, you can very easily go to your calendar here without opening Outlook. Of course, this will be synchronized with Outlook. But if I now go to the period February here, 29, just put this on month, you see here that the preparation activity is now scheduled for 5 days. And I'm doing also something else for another project. So that's why we get this exclamation in CRM, because we have 2 whole day appointments. So it gives me a warning. But anyway, you have pushed this now directly to his calendar. You see also that you see in this case all the appointments, and those appointments are synchronized with this calendar. Let's say I want to push this from February 29, starting in this case in March 21st. As if the project manager is pushing this, let's push this, and I can go here, of course, and see here my project. So I'm going to push this to, in this case, March the 21st. then the appointment is pushed accordingly. So as soon as it's linked to an appointment with that Outlook appointment creation, those activities, project item activities, and those appointments are married together and are connected. It doesn't work the other way around. We thought about that, but in this case, if Martijn is changing the appointment, the planning will not be changed. It's really a top-down approach. So in other words, if I'm changing this now, this specific activity to March the 21st, we see it's pushed now. I pushed it here, I hit save. And as soon as we look at the calendar again, going to sales calendar, and we go to that specific period, we see now in February that we don't have that conflict anymore. We don't see that exclamation anymore. And when I just go 1 month further, we see that we have here the preparation activity over 5 days booked in my calendar. To synchronize whole day appointments with Outlook, you need to adjust your synchronization filter in the Outlook plugin of CRM. To have more information, just check your synchronization filter in page 8 of the release notes, but then it will be synchronized in Outlook as well. And again, we put it as a whole day appointment. So if you look at this specific appointment, you see it's a whole day appointment, so it doesn't have a start and end time, but that's something the resource will figure out himself, exactly the start and end time there. If you look at the project, and we go back to my strategic M&A for AdventureWorks, we will see that in this case we have here the Gantt chart, of course, and what you are able to do now in the Gantt chart is to schedule directly people in the Gantt chart, but also look at the requirements and availability. So now you see the marriage that we have in the PSA suite. The PSA suite consists of 3 important modules: PSA, HR, and financials. And of course, we will add to that mobile and portal. I will talk a little bit more about later. But when you look at your Gantt chart, you can now directly from the Gantt chart look for resources that are available and that also meet the specific requirements and skills. So in other words, what I can do here, let's say for this specific report that I need to write, I can now go to the requirement tab. That's a new tab. I can select a specific hour type. So let's say I'm selecting consultant. And now when you look at the resources here, I see all the resources that are related to consultant and that are available. The availability is calculated by PSA automatically based on the period of the activity, and of course based on the already early scheduled and allocated time for this resource. So I see you have a lot of options here, and I see the availability of those people. And here I see some people are very busy. Julie, Gerard, and Mamet are very busy, but the other people are available and are meeting the criteria that they can do consultancy. I can also filter on a specific region. I only want to see the consultants that are in, for example, are based in Amsterdam. And then here, when I just drop down here, I see only the consultants based in Amsterdam. So that's the region table that we are leveraging here. You can set up the region table any way you like, with any hierarchy you like. You connect a region to a resource, and you connect a resource and a region to a project, or in this case, to the requirement tab. You can also say, I want to see only my consultants that are able to speak Spanish, and here we are leveraging the skills. So in HR, you can set up your employees and you can set up your skills. What is new in PSA 2016 is that the HR functionality and also is not part anymore of the enterprise license. Everything what was in the enterprise license moves to the professional license. So a lot of people will have access to HR. So in this case, I need to have somebody that speaks Spanish. And when I here look at my resources again, there is only one resource left, and that is Julie Bennett. I'm going to select Julie here, select her, add a selected resource. And now, without looking at my utilization sheet, without looking at the overall scheduling, utilization and planning, I am now able to schedule and to select my resource myself, because I'm able to check availability, location, and also look at skills. And in this case, I made the choice for Julie. Also in the project, of course, we can look at the utilization sheet. So you don't have to go to the overall utilization sheet. You have also the utilization sheet available here, right here in the project, and then here we see basically the people that are scheduled on the project from the utilization sheet directly. So I can see that here as well. A new thing is that we also see in the utilization sheet the pictures of my resources. That's a setting. So you can have in PSA settings, you can make a choice if you want to see the pictures, yes or no. Make sure that we are basically leveraging the pictures that you put on the employee records on the CRM user record. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. So the requirement tab is pretty important here. Another thing that we want to share with you is that we have improved functionality in the utilization sheet as well. So if we go here to the utilization sheet, we now have the ability not only look at utilization day by day, but also week by week or month by month. So here we have the view. We can put it, for example, on week. We can select a broader period because we have weeks now. And we're going to select a specific team. I want to see the audit team and the consultancy team, retrieve data, and now we see the utilization week by week. So that gives me the ability to look further into the future. And every column that we see now is a week. Sometimes it's not about the activity that you need to have a resource for, but sometimes it's really about the resources. So for a specific project or specific job, I know I need to schedule, for example, James. So what I can do now, I can see what availability is of my people, including James. Let's say I'm looking really for one of my people that are in the audit team. So we see that the list is more limited. I'm looking now at the audit team. And I'm looking at the week view. We have basically also this same thing as a month view. So if you change this to month, if you change the view, you need to retrieve the data again. But now we see per month who is available. And I can also start scheduling directly from here. So let's say I want to schedule hours. I can do it in this view. I can do it also in the day view. I'm just going to put this on day view and going to limit my period a little bit. I'm looking for somebody until April from now, who's available from the audit team in April, from December till April. And in this case, we see this, for example, for accountancy firms that they need to have a specific resource because that resource goes to the client forever. It's a part of the client, and he needs to be there as well. So now I see that I can schedule, for example, let's say I want to schedule James here. I can then drag and drop here directly. So I can, in this case, schedule James for this week to go to the client. So what you do left mouse. You can select specific periods, and you can do here then right mouse click and then start scheduling directly from the utilization sheet. So for example, in this case, I'm doing a tax audit. This is just an example. I'm doing this for this specific project. I'm selecting, no, that's the wrong project. It's an internal project. I'm doing this for this project. I'm selecting, in this case, services, and I'm going to schedule 40 hours. We can schedule 40 hours for James, and James needs to go with a colleague with Leonie. So I'm scheduling James and Leonie, and I'm scheduling directly now from the utilization sheet 2 resources for 40 hours to this new project. And when we refresh this, we will see that James and Leonie are scheduled on this activity. So we will see hours now appearing in that specific period. So here we see 8 hours. Now James is booked 40 hours for the whole week, and we see also Leonie is booked. So it's really great new functionalities that you can directly schedule from the utilization sheet people. In the next version, in PSA 2016 summer of the Q1 release, we are also able to edit the cells here directly. So if you don't want to have James 8 hours for the 40 hours spending on this week, but for example 8 hours on Monday and Tuesday, and the other Monday and Tuesday of the next week also 8 hours, and also on Wednesday 8 hours, you can move those cells as well. So you will be even more flexibility, even more flexible here to schedule people. So you can now schedule from the utilization sheet directly and not only from the Gantt chart. So when I look at that project, IFRS compliance was the project. We see here that I've booked him now for a whole week to do tax audit. That was my activity. When I double click on the project, it will open the project. And when I go to the Gantt chart, we will see that activity scheduled by PSA. So it created the project item activity for us. So here we have the IFRS compliance. We go to the Gantt chart, and one of the things we see is services, and within the services we see one activity. That's the tax audit. That's the activity I just created directly from the Gantt chart, and it's scheduled for James and for Leonie. Let's say I want to push this in their calendar. Then I can just hit I'll create Outlook appointment, and now it creates for Leonie and for James whole day Outlook appointments in their Outlook calendar, and they are aware of the fact that they are scheduled on that specific activity to do an audit for this client. In the timesheet, we also have the capability now to show the alert. So we see at the left side the alert that has to do with the budget of the hours and the spent hours. So in other words, when I look at my strategic consultancy project here for M&A, for Adventure Works, and I'm opening this project and I'm looking at the Gantt chart, we see those different alerts. Those alerts were always visible only for the project manager that has access to this project. But we're also making those alerts now visible directly in your timesheet. So in other words, when I'm booking time on this specific project, let's say I'm booking time on the kickoff, then we will see this alert as well. I will show you that in a moment. Before I forget, what's also important to know, as soon as you assign an activity to a resource from the utilization sheet or from the Gantt chart, we will update your project team. So you don't have to update your project team manual anymore. As soon as you assign a resource to an activity, that resource will be a part of your project team, so that resource can start booking time against the project. Let's say I'm booking time to the project strategic M&A. We will see also the alert now in the timesheet. So if I look at my timesheet, and this is the timesheet calendar view in this specific example, and I select a specific period, and I look at my project strategic M&A. Here it is. No, just did a German project here, I see, but here it is, and I'm selecting in this case. And what you see here, by the way, is that I can only book on activities that I'm attached to. So in this case, I'm not attached to those activities, but here you see I'm attached to this activity. I see only that I see the activities, it's my name assigned to it. And now we see also here the alert directly in the timesheet. So you can make people aware of the fact that they're booking time against a green, a yellow, or a red activity. And the threshold to make them yellow or red is a percentage that you can set up in PSA settings. Make sure that if you want to use the split invoicing, that you have an extra role, a security role, to have those accesses, to have access there. The only thing that you need to know, two important things: we discontinued the development of the group calendar in PSA 2016. That was that Silverlight component. Of course, we see that everybody's using today the utilization sheet to do the overview and have the overview of the utilization, especially now with the appointments included in there. The only thing that is now in Silverlight, but it will be phased out as well, is the expense claim. That is basically a functionality that not everybody is using. So we put that on the roadmap for Q1 to have that also in HTML5. So if you have people that are using the expense claim, you still need to have Silverlight. For all the rest, if no people are using the expense claim, and for all the other capabilities, you don't need to have Silverlight anymore in place. So that is an important thing to know. In 2016, we will have a web page that will be called the Assistant Software Academy. And we will have specific short 1 hour duration short training on specific modules like financials, like the revenue recognition, like batch invoicing, like resource management and planning, like program management, because we see that there's a lot of demand on training, but not on the whole solution, but on specific topics. So we will, of course, communicate that to everybody, and you will have that in your email and your mailbox soon. What I like to switch now to is my roadmap. If there are any questions on functionality today on the PSA 2016 functionalities, please again put your questions in the question box. But before we go to the roadmap, I have a little poll that I like to launch to see what you think about the new functionalities. So the first question is basically, do you like the PSA 2016 features. You have a minute to answer it. You can just click yes, no, or I don't know. So we just have opening this poll for 1 minute, and we have 70% of the votes in. And I see that we have 76% of the votes in. And it would be great if you answer the poll, because it's always something we share with our developers. And after months of development, they always want to know where we are there. So I see that we have almost 100% of the votes in. We are at 91%. So everybody that's doing something else, please answer the poll as well. So do you like the Assistance PSA 2016 feature set? It would be great if you answer the poll. 10 seconds left. Okay, guys, we're almost there. And I'm gonna close the poll. So now, great answer. We see that 95% of the people love the new functionalities of PSA 2016. So thank you for that. Thank you for that response. That's great, guys. Then another question that we're very curious about. What do you think about how we did the CAN chart activity and how you can basically move the CAN chart activity to an Outlook appointment? So do you like that functionality and that approach, that you have first an activity and then you can push it in the Outlook calendar? What's important to know is that we made the decision to don't put a start and end time there, because we don't think that in the scheduling and planning phase that you know which start and end time you need at this moment. So we put it as a whole day appointment, and people will basically see that in their Outlook calendar. So yeah, will you use this functionality and do you like it? So I see that we have 80% of the votes in, and so if everybody can vote, it would be great. As soon as we hit 90%, I'm going to close the poll. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Now I think that's a great response. We see 66% yes, I will use this functionality, 29% maybe, and 5% will not use it. So I think that's a good result for us as well. So thank you so much for that answer as well. And now we go over to the roadmap. So the vision and concept of Assistance PSA is of course clear and simple. We just want to provide to a professional service industry really great and state-of-the-art and innovative solutions to be more efficient and effective. The PSA suite is really about not only PSA, but about PSA, HR, where we also leverage the skills now in the requirement tab, but also in the utilization sheet. We have, of course, financials with the whole financial backend. We see that a lot of people need more knowledge on financials, so we're going to really definitely invest in helping you understanding financials. But all the journal entries are there, accounts receivable are there, revenue recognition is there, there's a whole new revenue recognition module, work in progress is there. So that's something we're going to educate everybody on. But it's used by a lot of companies to integrate PSA with another financial backend. But you can also use, and a lot of people don't know that, financials to do your own full accounting in PSA. So there's a P&L there, balance sheet, etc. Also, that will be something we're going to educate you on after Christmas and after the new and when the new year starts. Then we have the vertical package strategy. PSA is coming with 8 vertical packages. So the vertical packages that we will support are verticals for accountancy, legal, IT services, architects, engineers, management consultancy, non-profit, and marketing and advertising. And that means that if you install PSA and install a vertical package, especially for partners, that can be very beneficial. You can install that vertical package, do a creator demo, give the end user a better experience. And if you start implementing PSA, you already have your templates and your specific vertical IP ready. So on top of PSA, you have a part vertical IP. PSA Mobile is now available for iPhone, Windows Phone, and Android. So if you look at your Android store, and if you look at your iPhone store and you search for PSA Mobile, you can download today the latest version of PSA Mobile to do time entry, and also expense entry will be a part of that. And then we have created our own portals, and that's really also a new feature. And our own portals are basically not ADX Studio based anymore. We see that a lot of partners of us and clients of us are looking for really an out-of-the-box experience for the portal. And it means that we have developed 4 portals: an employee portal where employees can basically request leave, request vacation, go through the approval process, do some time entry, do some expense entry, but also see on which projects they are scheduled. You can put a PSA, you can put a scope in PSA so people can then only see their own activities and their own utilization. And that will be leveraged in the portal. The employee portal can also be extended with a self-service employee portal, so people can manage their own skills, manage their own contact details, etc. And that will all be a part of the employee portal. Another part of the portal is that you have a project managers portal. So you can start creating projects, doing project planning, project budgeting as a project manager in the portal. And we have also a resource managers portal. So a resource manager can basically do scheduling in the portal. And there are 2 big reasons for the portal. If you just are a PSA user and you don't do a lot with CRM, so you don't do leads, accounts, and contacts and do opportunity management, but you're really a PSA user, you're just managing projects or approving hours or doing time entry, you just need to have the portal. And the portal gives you also a different user experience. And I will show you a preview of the portal in 5 minutes from now. And the portal you only need to have on the CRM side an essential license. So you can really also, if people are just using the PSA functionality, you just need on the CRM side an essential license. And that gives you a lot of benefits, especially if you have a client or you are an end user. Let's say with 300 consultants, 250 people are just doing time entry and scheduling, then they only need to have a portal license. So that's an essential license on PSA and essential license on CRM. That's really great. If you are just a project manager, you do nothing with the CRM stuff, so no accounts, no contacts, no leads, you only need a basic PSA license, and you can still have sufficient with a CRM essential license. So it gives you a whole different new user experience. And then, of course, CRM is not a part, as you know, of PSA. We leverage Microsoft Dynamics CRM, but it's a part of the whole suite that you really have a from funnel to cash experience. Then we have the vertical package. The vertical package is basically 3 elements. We have vertical IP, so there's specific IP needed for some verticals. Let's say legal, they want to do time entry in minutes. Let's say we have engineers that want to do more with equipment and equipment scheduling. So we are able now to extend the basic PSA functionality with vertical IP for a specific vertical. We also have a part of the vertical package are the templates. So we create for you templates for a specific vertical. They are sitting in the cloud. And as soon as you install PSA 2016, the Q1 version, when the verticals are available, you can select the vertical. You can select, okay, I want to have a vertical package, let's say for IT services, and it will then infuse your PSA solution with the templates for IT, with example data for a recurring contract, for the software development contract, for a consultancy contract, with example data regarding scheduling and planning, and it will have maybe specific vertical IP. For example, you want to do time entry on a case and other specific IP that you need as an IT services company. And we have basically 8 vertical packages that we are developing at this moment. So on our website in January, you will also see that there is a very vertical approach with a landing page for each vertical. Yeah, the user interfaces are now basically spread. We have the CRM experience, so PSA embedded in Dynamics CRM as you're all used to, but we also have now the portal experience. For the portal, you don't have to install any additional software or any additional services or servers. So it's not like ADX Studio that you have a separate Azure environment, separate server, etc. It's all experience out of the box. You have a simple solution. It's called the PSA Suite Portal. Everybody can install it in CRM as a solution file, and then the portal works for you. You can set up the portal role-based, so you can give people different access to different elements in the portal, and you can completely configure that role-based for your PSA users. And of course, we have the mobile experience on Android, iPhone, and Windows Phone. When we look at the roadmap into 2017, we have now launched PSA 2016. We're launching in the first quarter of next year PSA 2016 service update number 1, and one of those and with that update we will also launch the first portal. Financials will be updated as well with new functionality on the revenue recognition side, but also on the full-blown experience as a full accounting solution side. And then we will launch Q1 and Q2 the different vertical packages. So if you do a clean install of PSA somewhere and you want to use a vertical package, you can just infuse your standard PSA solution with a specific vertical that will give you better demo and trial experience with your users. So in the service update number 1 coming out in Q1, we will have the vertical package module. We will have new admin approval screens and project approval screens, all built in HTML5 with interactive KPIs. You can do a direct edit in the utilization sheet. So now today you can already add activities in the utilization sheet with the drag and drop functionality as I've shown you. But with the Q1 service update of 2016, you can also do direct edit in the cells. You have additional timer functionality, especially for legal, very important. You can also have additional functionality on the timer with the case. So you can do time entry on a case today, but then it will have a resolve case, new resolve case screen. There will be a slight different handling of leave and vacation. There will be a new module in PSA, the PO module, so you can create purchase orders directly on a project that can be then generate journal entries for your PO in NAV or Dynamics or GP or whatever. And there will be intercompany invoicing. So this is all coming in Q1 of 2016. To be expected is that new approval screen. I already have here the screen for you available. It is completely interactive. So this is the admin approval screen. So in this case, we see billable projects here on the left. We see internal projects. We see some key performance indicators. So what is the percentage of internal hours versus production hours, sick hours, and leave hours? And it is interactive. So what I'm checking, marking at the left side, I'm flagging here at the left side to approve. This pie chart will be interactive build. So I see directly how many of those hours that I'm flagging are in production, so billable hours, internal hours, leave hours, and sick hours. And this is also available in the portal. The PM approval screen will also be more interactive. So as a PM, you can now approve, of course, your hours already, but here it will directly show you the KPI. So it will show you at the right side your budget that's already spent, what is invoiced, and then the bar chart will show you your budget versus actual. So the orange is actuals and the yellow is basically what you have flagged on the left side. So it's very clear and very simple and very visual to see as a project manager if your project is within or going over budget. So as a preparation of all this new functionality, it's really important that people start using the budget field. And then the portal, I'm going to show you the portal live, so not in a screenshot. So let's see where we have it. So here we have the PSA portal. And here we see the timesheet. I can do the timesheet grid. I can do the timesheet. The timesheet that we see, this is in development, so we have a little message here. So I can just here create a project, select a project, etc. Don't look at the data because this is from my development guys. I can here select project, do some entries here. So as a portal experience, the experience is completely different than CRM. You just have the options that you want to expose to your users. You can look at my utilization. So you look at the utilization, but then only your own utilization. You have your own sales forecast, your own Gantt chart, and you have your own profile page. So this is just the first preview of the portal solution that is available soon. You can have in the Gantt chart, you see, as you can see here, only your activities that you're scheduled on. This is not designed with the intention that people are going to start scheduling and trying to move their own activities, but they see what is expected from them from a time perspective. Here we see the timesheet again, and last but not least, we see here the financial solution. This is an accounts payable voucher. So here I'm basically having hardware and office expenses, and I'm posting here an accounts payable. In Q1, we will have full training available for financials as well, that you can have an idea how this will work. Again, the portal, you don't have to install anything. So you just upload your solution and the portal will work out of the box. And we will start launching the first portal in, I think, in January already, just after New Year and Christmas. So I'm very curious, what do you guys think about a portal? If you want to vote, that would be great. We spend a lot of time on the portal functionality here. I just launched a poll. Will you use the PSA Suite portal? Will it be yes or no? So should I finalize the development or should I stop the development? And you can use the portal already when you are basically you have an essential license. You can use the portal. We have 70% of the votes in, so hopefully not a lot of people are sleeping now, but still, if you want to vote, that would be great. So will you use the portal, yes or no? 10 seconds left, and then I'm going to close the poll. And again, you don't have to install anything for the portal, so that's really great. So no ADX Studio needed or other portal software needed. Now, thank you so much for giving us such a great feedback. So yes, 92% will use the portal. So I really think we hit home here. So that's really good. So I'm very happy with that result. And last but not least, I want to ask you, before you can ask me all kind of questions, what do you think about the vertical package strategy, that you can install PSA for accountants, for legal, for architects, for IT services, and then the templates are already there, example data is there, some specific IP to that vertical is there. We also do it to help our partners to do a better job and be better prepared on doing demoing of the solution. And also during implementation, we have a great accountancy package now. So if you do an implementation, let's say to an accountant or to an IT services company or to advertising and marketing, we will have some of those templates available. So if you want to answer the question, do you like the vertical packages? That would be great for us to know as well. And if you don't know, we understand, because you not really know what you're getting. But we will have this poll again when we have launched the vertical packages. Okay, I'm going to close the poll now. This was my last question, and then I'm completely happy to answer all your questions. So a little bit mixed result here. Yes, 64%, 33% doesn't know, and 3% know. So we're going to try to get those people that voted I don't know. We're going to try to get them in the yes camp. So that's what we're going to work on the couple of months from now. So guys, it's really up to you now. We are right in time, 5 minutes before the end of the webinar. I know it was fast, but we had a lot to tell, and we don't want to spend more of your time than 1 hour. We will have in 2016 all kind of academy tracks. They are for free for partners and end users. So we will going to schedule, we're going to call that Assistant Software Academy, with some short webinars and in-depth sessions on functionality of PSA. I see we have some questions coming in. There's a question. I have 5 different PSA mobile apps in Play Store. Play Store is from Google, I think. Which one is yours? It's our application is called PSA Mobile, and of course the person that creates it is Assistant Software. So if I'm here on my iPhone, so I don't know how it's. I'm not a Google guy, but if I'm searching for PSA Mobile, then I will find our solution. So it's really the name of the solution is PSA Mobile. Assistance PSA Mobile. That's the full name. So Assistance PSA Mobile, and then you will find the solution. So if you search for Assistance PSA Mobile, Mark, then you should find the solution. Now I have another question from Tara. Do you require IFD configuration in your on-premise environment to use the portal? Wow, that's a good question. I would think so, Tara. I would think so. To make sure, I'm going to ask somebody. If you hang on for a moment, I'm going to come back to your question. I'm going to ask that to Oscar. Bo, can you ask Oscar for me? He's sitting upstairs. Yeah. Then we have another question from Joe McDonnell. Portal will eventually want a client-facing one for the client to see project status, etc. Smartsheet does a great job of collaboration, and I think PSA can get that converted too. Yeah, I know where you're going, Joe. The only thing is the licensing. In CRM, you need always to have an essential license. And now there are other solutions, like for example, Salesforce. They have a free license for users that are interacting with, for example, Salesforce, and you don't have to pay for them. So that's more a licensing question, because Joel, you don't want to buy an essential license for your clients. One of the things that we are working on with another client is that there is for example, if clients need to approve hours, we have built an integration with DocuSign, so you can then generate an hour report through DocuSign, and then the client can interact with that. But the portal that we are developing at this moment needs to have a CRM license, so it needs to be an essential license at least. It's very cheap at this moment, essential license, but anyway, it needs to have an essential license. So that's something that we are doing today. Then a question from Angela Maron, and if I did not answer your question right, just re-chat for me. Oh yeah, I get some information back from Oscar. Yeah, Tara, you need to have an IFD configured solution also for on-premise to access the portal. So that is just from R&D coming. Then I have another question from Angela Maron. And the question is, what is the timeline for the release of the various vertical packages, for example, IT? The timeline is Q1, and to be more specific, it will be in February, March. The goal is to have everything launched before the second week of March, so all the verticals, Angela. Then we have Carrie Byrne. Hi, Martin. No, hi, Carrie. And I see also a question from Carrie Byrne, a quick one. On the portal, the audio is poor where I am now. Did you say that it's available now? No, the portal is not available now. It was on the roadmap, Carrie. So the portal will be available Q1, and we expect the first portal to really launch in also January, February timeframe. Then I have a question from Leo Kerkhoff. Hi, Martin. We saw the second invoice option on the project form. We used to invoice on the item level a lot. That will still be supported functionality in PSA 2016. We already installed PSA, but invoicing on the item level seems not to work anymore. This should work, Leo, this option. If you have, please send your question to the support desk or just call support. And if you have any issues with support, you can always call Gerard Ubels. He is the manager of our support department. So I don't see that it will not work, Leo. We're using PSA 2016 internally, and it works exactly the same as the Silverlight component. A lot of questions, guys. So if you are interested, hang on. We have a question from James 4. Do you plan on having a customer portal where customers would be able to enter tasks and see the status of them? It's definitely on my radar, but again here, James, it is more a license issue. You need to have a CRM essential license to access the portal. And the question for you, James, is would clients be able, would you invoice, for example, $15 to a client per month to have access to your PSA solution? Because it is really a license issue here. So for now on the roadmap, the portals that we have developed are really for your own employees. And a portal for customers is something that is something that we need to think about how we can do that. Maybe SharePoint could be an option as well. But the portal that you can expect in Q1 is really designed for your own employees. Sibren Moy, did I understand well that the HR functionalities moved to a basic user? It's a good question, Sibren. All the HR functionality that is related to yourself is even moved to an essential user. So if you want to basically manage your own skills, request leave, manage your own experience, manage your own educational level, etc. You can do that in the portal. You only need an essential license. If you want to manage HR from an HR perspective, so you want to go through all the employees, etc., then you need to have a professional license. So it's really a little bit a mixed model, Sibren. So an HR manager should have a professional license, but people that are managing their own HR functionalities can use already the essential license of PSA. Do you have a plan to have an help desk portal for customers to create cases and see their status? Again, this has to do with credentials. Not at this moment, James. It's not on the roadmap at this moment. The portal is really designed for your own employees. Jeroen de Hoog, it looks great. Thank you for your explanations. Now, Jeroen, thank you so much. Regarding the functionality of the booking restriction, what if you have projects with mixed items, items with activities attached and items with activities not attached? If you use the booking restriction, they cannot book hours to the items with activities not attached. No, that's not true, Leo. If you have the booking restriction on, you can still book time only against an item, but you can then only book time against activities that you're assigned to, but it's not mandatory to book time against activities. So the level is not restricted. It's more that you can only select your own activities that you're assigned to, but you can still only book time against an item. So it's a good question, but it's not a problem, Leo. Then there's a question from Pier Paolo Longhi. Sorry for my bad pronunciation of your name. What is the difference between light and essentials? The light version is discontinued, so the light version is not available anymore in 2016. And to see what Essentials will provide, Essentials is basically for a time and expense entry user and for a PSA portal user. You need Essentials. And to create projects and do project management, you need Basic. And if you go into financials and HR and revenue recognition and full accounting, you need Professional. But to see the full license matrix, I can recommend that you go to the website and go to the PSA landing page. Hopefully that was a good answer, Lonchi, for you. Then Victoria, we are at the end of the questions almost, and I see still a lot of people hanging in. That's nice. Have you got any training guides on the HR module? Yes, we have a small guide now on the HR module. We're still working on it. And this will definitely be also a part of our Academy initiative. But there is a quick start guide on the HR module. If you just send an email to sales@assistantsoftware.com to request that, then I will make sure that the right person will send you the information, Victoria. Then a question about DocuSign. Yeah, so you can install DocuSign. There's a DocuSign add-on on CRM 2015 and 2016. And you can leverage that, for example, for the project module of PSA as well, because PSA entity is a CRM entity. And that's what we that's what we have done, and that's what you can do. So that's what we are using at this moment. So it's basically just try to find a DocuSign add-in for CRM, and then you can configure that on a project, for example, in PSA. No, Carrie, there's not a specific template for DocuSign. No. Okay, guys, this was my the last question. So thank you so much for attending. This webinar is recorded, and I wish you all a great day, great evening, or great morning. If you've missed it or you want to attend the next webinar, we will do a similar webinar, I think on Thursday, and then next week another one for a different time zone. So thank you so much. Have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Enjoy life. Thanks. Bye.